Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 34. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajivam namaskuru ame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam matparayana. Mat manaha, always thinking of me. Bhava, become. Mat, my. Bhakta, devotee. Mat, my. Yaji, worshipper. Mam, unto me. Namaskuru, offer obeisances. Mam, unto me. Eva, completely. Eshyasi, you will come. Yuktva, being absorbed. Evam, thus. Atmanam, your soul. Matparayana, devoted to me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Please repeat. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Purport: in this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is the absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Puran, as it is quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhashya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 5th chapter verses 41 through 48. Deha dehe vibhedoyam neshware vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. That is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the Supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to the Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of the demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non devotional activities will diminish and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge. So this is the last last verse of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, so this is the end of the 9th chapter. And this same instruction is repeated later on in the Bhagavad Gita, right at the end of the 18th chapter. First, I'll take you to this verse. 1865 is the verse where it is repeated. But you see this 1863. Iti te jnanam akhyātam guhyāt guhyataram maya vimrishya itad asheshena yathechhasi tatha kuru. Now, iti te jnanam akhyātam. That means I have explained to you this knowledge. Guhyāt guhyataram. Guhya means secret, confidential. Guhyat means more than confidential. It is more confidential, in other words. Guhyat means than confidential. Guhyataram, still more confidential. So, thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Guhyataram. You see the word here? Guhyataram. It means more confidential. Okay? Comparative degree. Now, next verse. Sarva guhya tamam. Tamam means superlative degree. Most confidential. So thus I have explained to you more confidential knowledge. Now I am explaining to you the most confidential knowledge. Sarva guhya tamam bhuya. Shrunu me paramam vacha. Ishtosi me dridhamiti tato vakshyami te hitam. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. What is that? Most confidential knowledge. Guhyatamam. Manmanabhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. The last two lines are slightly different. Mame vaishyasi, it's still same. But satyam te. Just now we have read yuktva atmanam matparayana. Now satyam te pratijane priyos. So, but the instruction is the same. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So this is the most confidential knowledge, coupled with the next one as well, which is very famous. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So these two verses are the most confidential instruction of Krishna. What is he saying in these verses? Sarva dharman parityajya. Parityajya means give up, abandon. Sarva dharma, all kind of dharma, give up. How come he is saying like that? What kind of confidential instruction is that? Whereas he said in the earlier part of Bhagavad Gita, dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To establish dharma, I am coming every yuga. But now he is saying sarva dharman parityajya, mam ekam sharanam vraja. You surrender unto me, giving up all forms of religion. What does that mean? That means, this is explained nicely in the Bhagavatam. Dharma projhita kaitava atra nirmatsaranam satanam. Kaitava dharma we have to give up. Kaitava dharma means cheating religion. Or what is cheating religion? Oh, other than Hinduism. No, that's not the meaning. Cheating religion means any religious ritual performed for material benefit, not for serving Krishna. Like for example, let's take Hanuman. He served Lord Ramchandra, not to get anything in return, not to get some strength, not to get some health, not to get some nothing of that. He just wanted to serve Ramchandra Bhagavan because he is a servant of Ramchandra. That's it. There is no demand, there is no request, nothing. When we request or demand, there is not pure devotion. Sir. We can be cheated then. You know, this happened in Russia at that time, USSR. So the communists, they were trying to prove to everyone that there is no God. The state is the ultimate provider of everything. There is no such thing as God. So what they did, they stood outside the church. Every time people go to church, they ask God, "Oh God, please give us our daily bread." They pray. So they pray like that and then come out. So these communists will be there with a full truckload of bread. And they will give one loaf. They'll ask first, "You ask God for daily bread?" "Yes." "Did he give you?" "No." "Here is the daily bread." So who is God? We are God. So there's no such thing as God. You can pray whatever you want, but nothing is going to happen. Here, this is bread. So this is how they try to hoodwink. And also in Germany, there were so many women during the Second World War. They were praying, going to church, praying, because all the men went to the battlefield. Either their fathers or husbands or brothers or sons. They were all on the battlefield. So they went to the church and prayed for the return of their relatives. None of them returned because it was a war. So they all became atheists. And this is not only there, it is not exclusive to these countries. Even in India, so many people complain, if God is there, why there is so much suffering? If God is there, so merciful, then why this thing is happening to me? This is in technical terms, in theological terms, there is a word for this. Theodicy. Theodicy means to blame God for our sufferings. So, so this theodicy is engaged in by people who are taking to this Kaitava Dharma. They go to God not to serve Him, but in expectance of God to serve them, instead of they serving God. So this kind of dharma, Krishna asked Arjuna to give up. So some people may say, "Oh, Mam ekam sharanam vraja." Because Krishna is saying, surrender unto me alone, Mam ekam. Not to even Shiva, Brahma, Ganesh, no. Mam ekam. Exclusive he is asking, demanding. Now you may say, "No, my Kuladevata is this, my my favorite God is this, my family God is this." One may say, "Oh, I have to worship this and that." Krishna is saying, give up. Then why these systems are there in the Vedas? Kuladevata, this and that. Why? Because for those people who refuse to worship anyone, okay, you start by worshipping some authority, some devata. so that eventually you will come to the point of accepting the supremacy of Krishna. Because the devatas are all proxies of Krishna. If there in any country there is a prime minister and there are many ministers, so all the ministers are under the authority of the prime minister. So even if the minister have to do anything, they have to get sanction from prime minister. So the devatas similarly for the universe there is a big government, just like every country has a government. So each of the devatas have a particular department in that universal governmental management, and they act only on the authority of Krishna. So because we conditioned souls are in this material world only for the purpose of going against Krishna. The only reason why we are here because we went against Krishna. Otherwise, we should have been in Vaikuntha. The only reason we are not there is because we, at some time in the past, we thought, why not I try to become God myself? Why can't I enjoy myself? Why can't I be the Lord? Why should I serve? We misused our minute independence and Krishna said, okay, you try. He sent us to this material world. And there are trillions of other souls who are having the same stupid desire. So we all are here now. And we're all trying to become the Lord. That's why in this material world there is always strife and struggle to conquer, to become the best, to become top. So this is just a dim reflection of the same desire that we have of becoming the topmost, God Himself. So because of that envious nature, we have come here. So nobody in this material world actually wants to surrender to Krishna. They may even go to Shiva or Brahma or Ganesh or anyone for getting material benefits. But to come to Krishna is very rare. Very rare. Lord Shiva's another name is Ashutosh. Means very easily he will be pleased. It's not very difficult to please him. Why? Because he is meditating on Krishna. If somebody asks for something, take it. Don't disturb him. He is always meditating on Narayan. That is Lord Shiva. So he may give you anything you want. If you ask for material riches, take. If you want beautiful wife, take. If you want nice children, take. He will give anything. Vishnu is not like that. Krishna is not like that. So that's not what people want. They want material benedictions. But they don't understand that those material benedictions are actually detrimental for them. If you go to a cigarette shop, if a child goes to a cigarette shop, in India at least, and say that, I want some cigarette. Actually, the rule is under 18 you can't. But so many under 18s are smoking nicely. You pay the money and the shopkeeper will give cigarette. But you ask your father, he will give you slap. So it does not mean that the shopkeeper is better than the father because he is giving me what I want. No. Father is more concerned about your benefit, not the shopkeeper. He only wants money. So the devatas, they are dasyante yajna bhavita. What is that? They will reward you according to your whatever yajna you do, they will reward you. Whether it is good for you or not, they don't care. Because their duty is that they should do. Krishna gave them that duty. So Ishtan Bhogan Hivodeva Dasyante Yajna Bhavita Tair Dattan Apradayabhyo Yobhumte Stenayasa. This Dasyante Yajna Bhavita means will award these devatas, Devaha Dasyante Yajna Bhavita will award being satisfied by the performance of sacrifice. Another verse is also there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which says the same thing. See? Bhajanti ye yatha devan deva api tathaiva tan chhayeva karma sachiva sadhavo dhinavatsala. Those who worship the demigods receive reciprocation from the demigods in a way just corresponding to the offering. The demigods are attendants of karma like a person's shadow. Your shadow will move with you. If you move, your shadow also will move. So it will not say, I will not move. So like that, the devatas, they will give you what you want. You did this, okay, you will get it. Like a program. You press the button and it will work. Sometimes you may press the button and you're wrong. You wanted to press something else, but you press something else. It will not work according to what you thought. It will work according to what button you press. That's all. So, according to reciprocation of whatever yajna you did, that much you will get. like a person's shadow. But sadhus are actually merciful to the fallen. Sadhus, who Krishna's devotees, they will go even to the fallen soul, who is very, very sinful person. Even though he has no piety, nothing, sadhu will go and try to make him devotee. They're actually merciful. So anyway, so these devatas, Krishna in the 7th and 9th chapters also, he thoroughly condemns worshipping of the other devatas. Yepi anya devata bhakta 923, 723, 720, 21, 22. So all these verses are there. So Krishna is vehemently, vociferously saying that surrender only unto me. This is most confidential instruction, because all these devatas also cannot give you anything without my permission. They also cannot do anything without my permission. Whatever you are asking them, they are giving you is because I am authorizing it. Sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasyaradhanamihate labhate cha tatah kaman mayaiva vihitan hitan. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So in the background, Krishna is doing everything. So why not then worship him itself? Why are we running away from him? So he is asking directly, surrender unto me alone, mam ekam. Most confidential instruction. And today's verse also, manmana, always think of me, not anyone else. Not anyone else. Oh, think of me and think of also others. No. Think of me alone. Then no need to think of family. One may ask. See, when you think of Krishna, you will see the whole world as your family, not only your limited family. That's why sadhus actually give up everything to help the fallen souls. Why? Because they see everybody as a child of Krishna. That universal vision is not had when you are not a devotee. You only will consider your family, and you will treat others as outsiders. So, thinking about everyone's welfare is already included when we think of Krishna. They want universal brotherhood. How to have brotherhood if we don't have universal fatherhood of God? Unless we recognize the universal fatherhood of God, we cannot realize universal brotherhood. It is not a artificial nice thing. Oh, it is a nice thing to consider everybody brother. It's not a nice thing. It is a fact that universal brotherhood is a fact. Because Krishna says, Aham bija pradah pita, I am the father of everyone. So, universal brotherhood is a fact. We don't realize it because we don't consider Krishna as our father. And Krishna, when we say, it is not Hindu or something. Supreme Personality of Godhead. For everyone. Other religions may call him in different names, but it's the same person. It's not different person. It's Krishna only they are referring to. So, man mana means always think of me. Always. Bhava madbhakta. Become my devotee, Krishna. 4 things he said here. Man mana, always think of me. Bhava madbhakta. Become my devotee. Who is a devotee? Devotee means one who devotes his life. To the extent of how much we devote ourselves to Krishna, that much we are a devotee. It's like employee means what? The person who is employed. So similarly, devotee means one who is devoted. What is this devotion? What is the meaning of devotion? Devotion means to serve the Lord according to what He wants, according to how He wants us to serve, on His terms. Devotion cannot be done on my terms. It's not that I want to eat, I want to drink coffee, so I'll offer Krishna coffee and I will drink coffee. I can't, because coffee Krishna doesn't want. Or onion and garlic, even in the vegetarian category, onion and garlic, he doesn't want. So we can't offer him. So, and meat, he says no. So we can't offer him that. So I cannot do my own way and think that that is also devotion. And these are all just very rudimentary principles. There are so many nuances, so many rules and regulations in becoming a devotee. So all those, there is a nice book called The Nectar of Devotion we have. It is actually the English translation of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami. In that, the entire science of how to become a devotee is there. What are the rules? What we should do? What we should not do? Everything is there in that book. So we have to read that book and understand what is devotee. Because if we try to become a devotee without consulting what Krishna has said in the Vedic scriptures, that will become a disturbance to our own spiritual life, to our family, to our society, because we'll set a bad example. See, Shruti Smriti Puranadi, Pancharatra Vidhim Vina, Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society, even if it is devotion. For example, oh, hearing about Krishna is devotion, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So, hearing about Krishna is also devotion. One of the nine, you know what is devotional service? These 9 forms. You see, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu, Bhaktischenna Valakshana, Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha, Tanmanye Dhritamuttamam. Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, which is the Shringar Seva, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with mind, body, and words, these 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. This is called devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, not the person who has gotten some PhD in something. That's not a learned person. Learned person is one who is serving Krishna. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. For he has acquired complete knowledge. So this is devotional service. So now we have heard that out of the 9 processes of devotional service, one of them is what? Shravanam, right? Easy to understand. Hearing. Shravanam means hearing. Oh, okay, I have to hear about Krishna. Okay, wherever they are talking about Krishna, I will go and hear. No, no. So there are sub rules. So Shravanam, Avaishnava Mukhodgiranam. Avaishnava Mukhodgiranam, Utam Harikathamritam, Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpocheshtam Yatha Payaha. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-Vaishnava. From a non-devotee, we cannot hear about Krishna. Why? After all, Krishna only, right? Why? How does it matter whether devotee or non? In fact, the fact that he is speaking about Krishna means that he is also devotee. Otherwise, how he can speak about Krishna? No, some rascals, many rascals are there who speak about Krishna only to demean him. To present what he did not say and to not present what he actually said. They speak about Bhagavad Gita and all this because Bhagavad Gita is a popular book. They want to ride on the popularity of Bhagavad Gita and speak their nonsense, their own agenda. We cannot hear. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-Vaishnava because he doesn't have any good intentions when he's speaking about Krishna. Or even if he does, he is not properly situated in his devotion. Because devotion means he has to be a Vaishnava. A devotee, bhakta, means he's Vaishnava. If he's not a bhakta, then why is he speaking about Krishna? Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has poisonous effects. Similarly, talks about Krishna given by a non-Vaishnava are also poisonous. Now you may say milk is very nutritious, so I can drink milk. But yeah, you can drink. But if the milk is touched by the snake, the tongue of a snake, you cannot drink that milk. You cannot say, oh, milk is after all nectar, it's nutritious. No, now it is touched by the mouth of a snake. So similarly, the topics of Krishna are nectar, but when it's touched by the lips of a non-devotee, then it will have poisonous effect. Your devotion, whatever you have, also will be gone. Because wrong conclusions will be taught to you. Like what? So, for example, in today's purport also Prabhupada was mentioning that, but I think for many people they won't notice what is Prabhupada talking about. Because he said Krishna's mind, Krishna's body and Krishna himself are non-different. Why did he mention that in this purport? Did you notice it? See, unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being, he is absolute truth. His body, mind, and he himself are one and the same absolute. It is stated in the Kurma Purana as it is quoted in by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Anubhashya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adalila 5th chapter verses 41 through 48. Deha dehi vibhedo yam neshvare vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. So why did he mention this thing? So because they try to divide, so this is what happens. So I am Atma, the self, the soul. And mind is the subtle body covering the soul. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar constitutes the subtle body. And then we have this gross body, which is composed of the Pancha Mahabhuta: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay, so we are covered, the soul is covered by the Sukshma Sharira and the Jada Sharira as layers of cloth. So, like that. So, the mind, our body is not ourself at the moment. At this moment, our material body is separate from our mind. Our mind is separate from our soul. We are the soul, in fact. Not our soul, we are the soul. We are the self, Atma. So, that is in our case. But Krishna and his mind and his name, Abhinnatvan Nama Namino. Krishna, there is no difference between Krishna and his mind, Krishna and his body. So some commentators are there. They said, oh, when he said think of Krishna, that he's asking you to think of Krishna's soul and not his body. That the two-armed form. He's not asking you to meditate on that. He is asking you to meditate on the Parabrahman within Krishna. But there's such thing as within and without Krishna. That duality doesn't exist in Krishna. Krishna is absolute. Absolute means he has no duality, like we do in this material world. So therefore, that is what actually he is referring to. Because who said that? Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, the first president of India. He is a Sanskrit scholar. He wrote a tika or a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. Because he was a scholar, he thought he can write. So he wrote. In that he mentioned this. That when Krishna is saying, think of me, it is actually the Brahman within Krishna who is speaking. It's not the form of Krishna that we have to think of. It is the Brahman within Krishna. What is within Krishna and without Krishna? You don't even know what Krishna is. So these people don't know what Krishna is because he's not a Vaishnava. Krishna covers the understanding, of such people. See here. No, not this. 725. Okay. Naham prakashah sarvasya yoga maya samavritah मूढ़ो यम नाभिजानाति लोको माम ajamavyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. Naham prakashah sarvasya. So he covers himself. Such people cannot understand. For them, I am covered by my internal potency. Yoga maya samavrita. Avrita means covered. Samavrita means completely. Samyak avrita means completely covered. They cannot understand me. and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and inexhaustible. To whom does he reveal himself? स एवायं मया तेद्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं हि एतदुत्तमम्. Rahasyam, this secret, this confidential knowledge. Krishna is saying, Arjuna, I am speaking this most confidential knowledge to you. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend. What is that? Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Bhakta and sakha. Because you are my bhakta and sakha, therefore you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So unless we are a bhakta of Krishna, we cannot understand the mystery. And therefore, if I want to understand the mystery of Krishna, I cannot go to a abhakta or non-Vaishnava because he doesn't know anything about Krishna. So when he says this inside, outside of Krishna, you are confused. You can read all those other translations of Bhagavad Gita other than Prabhupada's. You will be confused. You will not have a clear understanding of what the aim of life is actually from those Bhagavad Gita commentaries. You will not have. That's why before Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, there were already hundreds of editions of Bhagavad Gita. More than 700, Prabhupada said. At that time. Now there are even more. More rascals are being born every day. So more rascals are writing on Bhagavad Gita and creating more commentaries. All those commentaries never made one devotee also. But when Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita, you see how many devotees immediately all over the world. So that is the effect of actual commentary. When it is very clear and when you follow, you will get the result. Whereas you can read the Bhagavad Gita of these people, you will never understand what they're talking about, what Krishna is talking about, because they don't have the access to the Rahasya. In fact, it is said that for the devotees, the Lord is so. In fact, the Lord, even if he wants to hide from the devotees, he cannot hide. Ullangita trividha sima samatishayi sambhavanam tava parivradhima svabhavam maya balaina bhavatapi niguhyamanam pashyanti kechidanisham tvadananya bhava. You see, O my Lord, everything within material nature is limited by time, space, and thought. Your characteristics, however, being unequaled and unsurpassed, are always transcendental to such limitations. You sometimes cover such characteristics by your own energy, but nevertheless, your unalloyed devotees are always able to see you under all circumstances. So you sometimes cover such characteristics by your own energy. So Krishna covers himself. And therefore, non-devotees cannot understand him, but the devotees can easily see through and they can understand Krishna. And we should never consider ourselves devotees, first of all. Some people are, oh yeah, actually I understand. Please. So we should go through a devotee. Nobody has become a devotee without going through another devotee. Krishna himself says, Madbhakta puja bhyadhika. Worship of my devotees is better than me because you cannot get me without worshipping devotees. Ye me bhakta jana partha. Name bhaktascha te janaha. Mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas te me bhakta tamamata. Adi Puran. Krishna is telling Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees. If I say that I am a devotee of Krishna, Krishna does not accept us as our devotee. Go, get lost. But those who are the devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. So he wants to see the humility. You are coming directly to me without respecting my devotee. Who are you? You first learn how to surrender to my devotee first. That's why he says in Bhagavad Gita, how to come to him. He says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeksyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinah. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Some people say, oh, I will go directly to Krishna. Why I need some agent to go to Krishna? I will go directly. Krishna is in my heart. I will talk to him. Okay. So that Krishna in your heart is saying, go to Guru. Now what do you want to do? That same Krishna, he is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, now you go to spiritual master. Tattvavit pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam. Jnanina, go to the jnanina, those who have the knowledge. So, therefore we cannot avoid. Even if I want to listen to only Krishna and nobody else, Krishna is saying, go to the Guru. In fact, he himself took a Guru, Sandipani Muni. Ramchandra took Guru, Vishwamitra Muni. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Guru, Ishwar Puri. He doesn't need a Guru. By why is he taking? To show example. To show example so that we should take. If a personality like Krishna had to take, who are we not to take? In fact, a person without parents is called Anath. Anath means orphan. Before, at least 200 to 300 years ago, if you don't have a Guru, you're also called Anath. Actually, that's a fact. Because mother and father will, give some upbringing in the material sense of the term. But for spiritual knowledge, one has to go to the Guru. They have to leave the child in the Gurukul. And there he will learn. Our modern schools cannot be compared to any Gurukul. They are just teaching us how to earn some money. That's all. So that we can be a nice slave for the capitalist. That's all. The education system today will be useless because after the degree, you have to go with a begging bowl, honestly, and get a job. You have to ask for a job. Otherwise, the degree is no use. They are making you a slave of their system. This is the education today. Whereas Gurukul education is different. It trains the Brahmana to be independent and not work for someone. He should spend his life in Pathan, Pathan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Pratigraha. His life is full of service to others only. How? First of all, Pathan. Service means, first of all, you must know what is truth. And then you must teach others this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and the Vedas. You should teach others what is the aim of life and how. And Yajan means Yajna, for one's own purification. In Kali Yuga, the Yajna is Nama Yajna, Japa Yajna, or Kirtan, Sankirtan Yajna. So chanting, so Japa is for one's own purification on the beads, and Kirtan, when we sing and chant together, that is for everyone's benefit. Yajan, 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 for one's own purification and for others' purification. And not only Kirtan, singing, but also this speaking about Krishna consciousness, so that others will benefit. He should Pathan and Pathan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Pratigraha. He should give Dana, and he should accept only Pratigraha, gifts of charity. That's all. He should not even demand. Whatever he gets, if he doesn't get anything, he will pluck some leaf from the tree and he will cook it and eat. That's it. But he'll never ask. But people who have culture, they will give something to the Brahmana. Because they will, like for example, Brahmana will have some students coming to his, staying in his Gurukul, and they will get some rice or something, little bit dal or some vegetables, some fruits. Whatever it is, a little bit he will have, and whatever rest is, because his surplus will be there, he will cook and give as prasadam to everybody, dana. He will not store anything for himself. So this should be the life of a Brahmana, simple life. Not that he should be very extravagant. No. In fact, he should not be. Voluntarily, he should accept that position of voluntary poverty, so that he does not get distracted by anything. Because too much wealth is, is a distraction. So he should remain like that and teach this thing, so that actually people will benefit. In fact, they used to counsel even the kings. The king's counselors used to be Brahmanas, and they were not paid by the government. So they can tell straight what is the. If you are paid means I cannot speak, no, my mouth is tied. So if I want to speak straight advice to the king, I should not have anything taken from him. There should not no conflict of interest. So self-realized soul can impart knowledge and do. So we have to go to such people, such souls, to become self-realized ourselves. So Krishna is showing us the way how we should always take a guru. So if we don't have a guru, we are actually anath. But nowadays nobody has. In fact, guru is a bad word now. Guru means all these scammers. They are referred to as gurus. Some financial gurus, some this. They are called gurus. Guru is not that at all. Guru means heavy, heavy with knowledge. Knowledge means not this livelihood like you know some physics professor, maths professor. This knowledge, that knowledge also they used to have as a side effect of learning this. They already have that knowledge, but this is the main thing: the spiritual knowledge. That is the greatest science. So this has to be taught, and we have to learn that from such people. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. He has seen the truth. So that such Tattvadarshis. Tattvadarshi means one who has actually seen the truth. What is the truth? The absolute truth is Krishna. They know what is what. When they know Krishna, they know everything. Yomam evam asammudham janat purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So Krishna is saying these simple things. Manmana, always think of me. Bhavam adbhakta, become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. And Mam Namaskuru, offer pranam, dandavat pranam, we offer. Sashtanga namaskar. So that we have to do. These simple things. You'll become the greatest yogi. Greatest yogi. Krishna says, Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion with a capital M. So, and of all yogis, who is the highest? Who is actually a devotee of Krishna? Who thinks of me within himself? Manmana, right? Manmana bhavam adbhakta. This thinks of me, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. Madhyaji. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Highest of all yogis is the devotee. You may say, oh no, the Himalayan yogis, they have big powers. This is what everybody can do, this child also can do. What are you saying? How come this is the greatest yogi? Yogi means not these powers. They are actually distraction on the path of real yoga. Yoga means to connect. Viyoga means disconnection. So to connect back with Krishna in our eternal relationship with Krishna, that is yoga. Now we are disconnected from Krishna. We have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. For example, if a son goes away from the father and forgets his relationship, that is called viyoga. But when he understands, yes, I shouldn't have done that, I will come back. That is again yoga, connection, re-establishing the relationship. So that is yoga. So we have lost, we have given up our connection with Krishna, our relationship with Krishna. So to come back to that is yoga. Then what is this all asana, pranayam and all this there, big yogis, big mystic powers and they are having, what is all that? So for a person who is not immediately wanting to serve Krishna, for some people they want to worship other devatas. Krishna said, okay. At least even if you don't want to worship me, you worship my proxy. And then, because suppose you want to worship Ganesh, you have to worship if you want to do a yajna for Ganesh or any devata, you have to worship Vishnu, and only the share of the sacrifice can be given to the devata. That is the procedure of worshipping any devata. You have to worship, even if you want to worship the Pitras, the forefathers, you have to worship Vishnu first, and in the offering of such prasadam, share of it has to be given to that devata. That is the only way to worship. So you are bound to worship Vishnu even if you are worshipping the devata. So that's how Krishna made the system. So that you are at least officially accepting the supremacy of Krishna, although not directly. You want to actually, serve. You want to worship the devata for your own material benefit, but in that process you have to worship Vishnu. So in that way, at least you are acknowledging the supremacy of Vishnu even indirectly. So that thing will actually purify you over time, over many lifetimes. It will come to a point where you will actually surrender to a pure devotee of Krishna and then make the move to the exclusive devotion to Krishna. That is the whole point. Why those devata worship is even there. Okay, so that is one kind of people. For those who don't want to worship Krishna directly. The second kind of people, so the first kind is called karmis. Karmis. They just want to enjoy this material world. Then the next kind of people are jnanis. They want to speculate on philosophy, philosophical speculation. They don't like a definitive answer that God is this is the absolute truth. Why you are giving the whole answer to me, now I cannot speculate. I want to be able to explore. I want to, they say religion and spirituality. Religion versus spirituality. What is the difference? Oh, religion is full of rules, will tell you that this is the thing, this is not the thing, and it's very rigid, not flexible. Whereas spirituality is all about exploring. You can explore whatever you want and however you want at your own pace, and there's no boundaries. So spirituality is better than religion. They come to this conclusion. So these philosophical speculators, there is a nice verse in Brahma Samhita. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayor athapi manaso muni pungavanam sopyasti yat prapadasimni avichintya tattve govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. We can travel at the speed of not only the wind but also the mind, which is faster than light. We can travel at that speed also, but we will, with this philosophical speculation, with manasaha. Manasaha means at the speed of the mind. Like how far can your speculation take you? You can go on speculating for millions of years. Nachanyekopi chiran vichinman. You can go on speculating for millions of years. We will never come to even understand the slightest clue about the Lord. But people want to do that. They want to speculate. So Krishna is giving some facility for them. Okay, you speculate in this way. For example, Krishna said, I am the taste of water. Now you can speculate how Krishna is the taste of water, and you can prove it. You can speculate all the possibilities of how Krishna is the taste of water. That is speculation within the limit of Krishna's instruction. So it is still valid. Some people just want to speculate any philosophy, whatever they want. So they are getting distracted by that. Instead of coming to the actual point, why are you speculating? Because you want an answer. But these people don't want an answer. They want to have some own way of, so they want to show off that this is my philosophy. But they're not sure. And they take pride in not being sure. They say that I'm a lifelong learner. They take pride in that. See, you can be a learner, but you have to understand what is the truth. And then still be a learner, how to even perfect your seva. Yes, learning means, do you want to learn or not? Actually, learn means you will have the knowledge. Learning means what? And when the knowledge is given, there's no need to learn anymore. That's it, we have to accept it. Ultimately, it comes to the point of whether we want to accept it or not when the knowledge is given. So the jnani is another distraction. Karmi is distracted by devata worship. Jnanis are distracted by speculation. Yogis, they are distracted by yogic powers. Real yogis. We are not talking about the so-called real yoga, which is there in the CBD area, posh studio, and all the ladies are coming and doing the yoga there. That is not real yoga, fake yoga. Real yoga means, first of all, you cannot do it in a group. You have to stay alone in the mountains. Usually, ladies cannot do that, and even men cannot do that. Very rarely, some men they can do. You will find them in the Himalayas. All these yogis, them, and they are. Why this yoga system is? What is this yoga system all about? Yoga indriya samyama, to control our senses and focus it on the dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyantiyam yoginah. Ultimately, to meditate on the manas samyamya mat chitto yukta asita mat paraha. Krishna is saying in the 6th chapter, which is the whole chapter is about dhyana yoga, how to do meditation, what meditation. So in that, Krishna is saying that we have to control our senses, staying in the forest, completely free from sex lives, completely aloof, complete strict brahmachari, and not being afraid of all the dangers that the jungle poses, and staying in that equilibrium, one has to practice yoga. This whole description is given, brief, in Bhagavad Gita, and other Yoga Sutras, there is more description about it. So, in that position, one has to do this. So, control our senses. When one controls the senses, why to control the senses? Because the senses are going here and there, trying to enjoy this sense gratification of this world. And with that comes attachment, with that comes bondage. When we engage with this world, it becomes bondage. So, to withdraw ourselves from such bondage, senses have to be controlled. So, yoga process, what it does is mechanically controls the process, senses, which is a very inefficient way to do it, because the real way to do it is this. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements, by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So Bhakti Yoga is on this principle, works on this principle, that you don't have to try hard to control your senses. And your senses are being tempted by all these material enjoyments, and you have to try hard. And with all these material, these breathing processes, and getting yourself somehow or other distracted from all of that, and then focusing on the breathing and all that. That is the whole mechanical process of yoga. And in the matter of doing that, in the course of doing that, you will get these mystic powers if you do it for long enough, for thousands of years. So long enough means not just 2 years, thousands of years if you are doing without any interruption. Yes, then you can. This is possible in Satya Yuga, and Kali Yuga is not even possible. So forget it. This yoga all won't work. Philosophical speculation, we don't have any time, and it's useless also. Kleshoti katrastesham. Krishna said it's a fully troublesome process. And Devata worship is completely, he said, you're a fool if you're doing that. Alpa methasa. Alpa methasa means you don't have much brain substance in your head. Krishna is using that kind of word for those who worship Devatas. So all three he condemned. But Bhakti Yoga, he is saying this you take up. Manmana bhav. And Bhakti Yoga, what is this? If yoga, big yoga in the Himalayas is also so difficult and can't get the highest, then Bhakti Yoga must be even more difficult. No, it's very simple. Then why it is the highest? In fact, one person argued with me, one time. I was distributing books during Thaipusam festival. Thaipusam festival in Singapore, Indians won't know this from India. Because in India, it's not at all a big festival at all. I heard the word Thaipusam from a Chinese person first time. Yeah, because I was going from shop to shop, trying to sell books. And I went to one shop, Chinese, shop owner. And then I asked, can you take this, can you give maybe a donation for this book? He said, oh, what donation? Thaipusam. I said, what Thaipusam? Thaipusam na, Thaipusam. I said, what are you talking about? No, this is Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. Thaipusam la, Thaipusam. Next week, what Thaipusam what? He was talking like that, old man. Thaipusam. Then I asked, Mahaprabhu was there with me. What are you talking about? Then I said, no, there is a festival, I'll show you next week. Oh, is it? Okay. And I just sort of, he gave some donation and I gave him the book and it came out. And then next week I saw what the type of was. What it was, people piercing all these things and kavadi and first time I was like, what is this? Wow. Everybody is like, piercing everywhere. Even the ladies also, some ladies also are doing, wow, what is going on? So, so this is the thing. Oh, okay. So there once we went to Thaipusam and then we were selling books there. Bhagavad Gita again. Bhagavad Gita, all our books. So we went from, we had a book bag and we used to go and sell. And one young man, he came to me and said, so what is this? And then he was asking questions. So what is bhakti? Then I said, "Ah, it is very simple. You can chant Hare Krishna and you can attain perfection. What? Chanting and attain perfection. So easy. I don't think reaching God can be so easy. See how much people are you know what is that, piercing themselves. This is devotion. What is this you are talking? No sacrifice, nothing. Simply like that, go to God. You are a fake, something fake in you. It's not real. But let's see what actually Krishna says about festivals like that. अशास्त्र विहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपो जनाः दम्भाहंकार संयुक्ताः कामरागबलान्विताः कर्षयन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्राममचेतसः मां चैवान्तः शरीरस्थं तान् विद्यासुरनिश्चयान्. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances, not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism. This is exactly what it is. There's no injunction in any of our shastras that one must do the Taipasam like no. In Tamil Nadu, they do. One part of Tamil Nadu, they just offer milk pot to Skanda, Murugan. That's all they do. It's piercing and all show of some extra. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body, as well as the super soul or Paramatma dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Oh. It's not even like any devotion. What is this? So I showed him this also. No, I don't want the book. What is this? How can you say like this? He was offended. So, but this is a fact. Just told you. If you don't like, okay, fine. So now the point is how it is so easy and when it is the highest yoga. How come it is just one always think of me, become his devotee, okay? Do namaskar to him and worship him. That's all. Well, it's easy to said than it's easier said than done. To always think of Krishna is impossible for a materialist. You can try. 24 hours, not a single second forgetting him. Try. We hardly remember him even 10 minutes in the entire day. Right? It's only possible by love. A mother, when she loves the child, and so whatever she's doing, she's always remembering the child. Because the child, may get into some danger or something. Always she's thinking of the child. Where is he? Where is he? So how is it possible? How is she thinking whether even when she's doing something busy or something, she's always thinking of the child? How? Because of love. So that love is what makes you think of the other person. So unless we love Krishna, we cannot think of him always. In fact, Krishna says to Arjuna, sorry, 8:7, right? See, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhya. Mayarpita Manobuddhir Mame Vaishyasya Samshayah. Imagine now. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. This statement is very important because Krishna knows. He knows us very well. We will say, I have life to live. So, I have so many responsibilities, this and that. So, it's very difficult, for me to do all this. So, you should understand, you are sitting in temple, you can do all this. But I'm, outside, I'm working, I'm not like you sitting here. So, I have many things to do. You don't tell me. So, I cannot do this, try to understand. So, people come to this kind of attitude in their head. So, here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, because nobody can claim to be more busy than Arjuna. Arjuna was so busy. First of all, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield. It was not in a classroom like this, air conditioned, sit down, relax. Battlefield. Everyone, elephants were all lining up. Big, big elephants. Horses, chariots, huge warriors, they were all ready. Armies, big, big phalanxes were getting ready. And here they were talking Bhagavad Gita, philosophical class, talking about life. You know? So, this is the position. It's not a relaxed position. So, imagine the kind of stress you are at, how many things you have to think. But this is being taught. Okay? Now, you fight, at the same time, you think of me. Imagine, you're fighting. If one second inattention, the arrow will just pierce your neck and you're dead. 1 second. And they fight from sunrise to sunset. Continuously, they fight. 18 days the war went. 18 days continuously they were fighting from sunrise to sunset, every single day. Imagine. With not a moment of respite. At that time, Krishna is saying, Ma Manusmara Yudhyacha. How? Can we now claim that I'm busy? How? Can we be more busy than Arjuna? That one moment inattention and you will die? We are at least not that busy. So if he is telling him, so that's why Krishna chose Arjuna, the busiest man. And tell him, all you rascals who are telling you are busy, Arjuna I am asking, you cannot be as busy as Arjuna. I am asking him to, my arpita manobuddhi. Remember? Your activity is dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. Your mind and intelligence fixed on Krishna, then how is he going to fix this arrow on the bow and shoot? Fix his mind on the target, how is he going to do it? With love it is possible. Only with love. Only with love it is possible. Because he is doing it on the order of Krishna, first of all. So his very fighting is because Krishna is asking him to fight. Actually, Arjuna did not want to fight the war. So by the act of fighting itself is because of Krishna. So he is doing it for Krishna. So in this way, we have to, at every moment we should think of Krishna. So this is not very easy actually. Always think of me, we think it is easy. It's not. So we have to now develop our love for Krishna. And it is not something artificial. Our love for Krishna is already there. It has to be revived. By Shravanadi Suddha Chitte Koraya Uday. See this. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabhunoy. Shravanadi Suddha Chitte Koraya Uday. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. Now we don't find such attraction for Krishna because we may be a little bit attracted here and there, but not really the amount of love that, without Krishna I cannot live. Govinda virahena me shunyayitam jagat sarvam. That is not there. That means without Krishna my life is just zero. That kind of thing we don't. We do have such feelings when we lose a loved one. When we lose a loved one, then we will our mind becomes blank. That is called shunyayitam jagat sarvam. So the whole universe, the whole world doesn't make any sense to us anymore. But that only lasts for a while, few hours. After that, we will get back into. But we constantly like that. That is different. That is possible with Krishna. And that separation is actually not separation. Because to think of Krishna is to associate with him, which is different in our case. When you think of somebody, you are not associating with that person. When you're calling the name of the person, you are not associating with the person. But when you say Krishna, Krishna is already there on your tongue. The name Krishna and Krishna himself are non-different. So thinking about him in separation, actually it's not separation because you're already thinking about him. So it's actually you're with him. So this is the transcendental nature of Krishna consciousness. So, when the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the love naturally awakens. So, it is now just like a magnet. A rusty iron piece is not attracted to a magnet, very feeble attraction. But you purify the iron piece out of all the rust, then the iron will irresistibly get attracted to the magnet. So, like that, our attraction for Krishna is not there so much because covered with the layers of dust of materialism. Now we have to purify them. Then our love for Krishna will awaken. So that's what we should do. Hear about Krishna, chant his name, read his books, and do seva, eat Krishna prasadam. So these things will purify us, and then we will slowly awaken to our original state, which is to irresistibly be attracted to Krishna. That is our original state, actually. Now we don't have such thing. It is our foreign state. We are in an abnormal state right now. So once we come there, it's a very simple formula, but it is at the same time the most powerful. यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. Yogi, he tries to get all these yogic powers, yoga siddhis. But you see, Yogeshwar means Krishna, who is the master of all yoga. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Sanjay is saying. So this is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the conclusion, that wherever there is Krishna, Yogeshwar, all mystic powers are automatically there. Even big yogis like Vishwamitra Muni, they fell down. When Menaka came, he fell down from his status as yogi. So mind can still be influenced even when one is a powerful yogi. The control is not there because there is no higher attraction. Forcibly controlling the senses, that is not very powerful actually. So this is कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते. One who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. You may refrain from, watching a movie or watching cricket and all, but our mind is always, no, I want to watch the Cricket World Cup or something. Then that is not good enough. That is a pretender. Pretending to control sense is not control. So this happens when we forcibly try to control and we have nothing higher, no higher enjoyment. Then this happens. But if we have Krishna consciousness, it is a higher enjoyment, higher taste. Then automatically, when you have a higher enjoyment, you will automatically not go for the lower enjoyment. You will have no interest in that. That is a better way to control the senses, to have the higher enjoyment of serving Krishna, rather than trying to forcibly stop our sense gratification. So that's why a devotee can easily control, like Haridas Thakur. He was Maya herself came to distract him from his chanting. Maya became devotee. He was not. Whereas Menaka came and Vishwamitra gone. Saubhari Muni also like that. So this is the thing. So that's why a devotee is actually the best yogi. Of course, in the beginning stages of devotional service, one is not as strong. So he may fall accidentally for a while. But still he is higher than those yogis and jnanis and karmis, because he can pick himself up and come back to devotional service and Krishna will protect him. Because, okay, he is immature, but he has taken to the right method, so I will protect. Krishna will say, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma, shashvachantam nigachati, kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna will take special care of such a devotee. But this special protection is not there for karmi, jnani or ordinary yogi. So even higher than the yogis in the Himalayas are the devotees, who may not look like big yogis or what, but actually they are better yogis than them, because they are actually situated in the real thing, to think of Krishna always and to serve him. Okay, so I will stop here. Any questions or comments or doubts on this topic? Ask. Any questions or comments or doubts? If you have nothing, we will stop here. जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंद।